Welcome back, Pokemon Trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and it's currently Monday, July 18th. Ha, psych, just kidding. It's actually Sunday, July 17th. I'm pre-recording this week's Pokemon News Update video thingy because I have to run out early Monday morning to see if I can pick up a new phone. I'll explain why momentarily, but first, to kick off the News Update video, I will point out, as per usual, I do have a booster pack of Pokemon TCG that I'm going to open up towards the end of the video. This week is a Furious Fist booster pack, and as always, I'm going to give out the code card to a lucky viewer who participates in this week's question of the day, which I'll give you towards the end of the video as I open up this pack. But first of all, we're going to go over last week's question of the day. The question was, what is your favorite and or least favorite Pokemon attack? And the winner of the Fates Collide booster pack code card that I opened up last week is a viewer by the name of Ranger Omar. And Omar says, the worst and most frustrating move has to be any that lead to confusion, such as, Psybeam or Signal Beam, and what's the other one? Confusion. And although the thought of a Hitmonlee kicking itself in the face is amusing, especially if that Hitmonlee is Mr. McKick. If you watched the Pokemon Blue playthrough, you know what I'm talking about. Even though me and Mr. McKick have kind of buried the hatchet. But anyway, I always imagine the opposing Pokemon saying the classic, "Stop hitting yourself." Could you imagine if you could critical hit yourself in Confusion? They'd be saying, "Stop critting yourself, stop critting yourself." As for the best, I always like I always liked Solar Beam, mainly because the charging and beam feel like a Kamehameha, like the signature move of Goku from Dragon Ball Z, although also Krillin uses it, and Yamcha, and Gohan, and Piccolo that one time he tried to see. Anyway, all that being said, so Ranger Omar has won the booster pack code card of Fates Collide, and for your chance to win the Furious Fist code card that will open up at the end of the video, like I say, stay tuned for that question of the day. But moving on to the news. Now, in general news, I'll just put this down for a moment. The reason I am recording this early on Sunday, and first of all I want to say, hopefully the news will not be outdated by like half a day, because usually I record these on Monday morning after researching all the news update. The reason I'm doing this is because Pokemon Go has officially come out in Canada now. Yahoo! But, problem is, my phone can't run it. And it took me a lot of searching to figure out exactly why, because according to the website, my phone meets all the requirements, such as the operating system and the amount of, the Wi-Fi connection and stuff like that. What it doesn't say is, I think it needs 2 gigabytes of RAM to be able to run. My phone only has 1.5 gigabytes. Therefore, my phone is not compatible with Pokemon Go. So I have to go out early on Monday to see if I can get a nice upgrade to a new phone, which is kind of like, I've had to do this for a while, but I've been putting it off. Now seems like a really good time to do it in order for me to get Pokemon Go installed on the phone, now that it is finally here in Canada. So I'm recording the news on Sunday night to get it edited, uploaded, and researched, recorded, edited, and uploaded in time for the Monday update. That way, as soon as I wake up on Monday morning, I can just rush out, try to get the phone, and what I'm hoping to do is start recording some Pokemon Go content for the channel. I know I'm kind of behind the times in that, like over a week, because of everyone else that's on YouTube that's been uploading footage already. But I am going to do my best to get some Pokemon Go footage for the channel. If you guys are interested in seeing that, first of all, leave me a comment below and let me know if you're interested in it, and just sort of gauge the feedback of how much you'd like to see this. I'm hoping to do 2 episodes a week based on how much new content I can provide, and if nothing really new is happening, it might start to dwindle off a little bit, but if they start adding more features, like I've heard some buzz about possible friendly battles from person to person, and trades are available possibly in the future, as they start putting updates, that could keep the content alive on the channel for a little bit more longevity. So, as I say, let's make sure I'm here in my news properly here. So yeah, I'm hoping the news will not be outdated for tonight. There's a lot of good news to go over, so there shouldn't be a problem there. And hoping for 2 episodes a week, just make sure I get it. Okay, and I'm rambling right now to try to keep track of where I am in my notes. But as I say, I'm hoping to use the Pokemon Go channel content as just to show off the game itself. I'd also like the idea, and I've had this idea in the past for the channel, try to highlight some of the local, say, attractions in my hometown of St. John, New Brunswick, because I'd like to see if I can show off some of the more noteworthy areas that we have, some of like the nice landmark features and such, and quite a number of them are Pokestops based on what I've seen from my nephew's copies of Pokemon Go as well. So I know one place we'll probably be seeing a lot of in the content, in the videos, will be King Square, a nice big park in uptown St. John. There are, I believe, 4 at least Pokestops up there, and close to that area is a gym as well. So I'm going to try to show off as much of that stuff as I can, as I say, possible 2 episodes per week. Anyway, moving on to the rest of the news in Pokemon Shuffle, There are new mission cards available. If you like doing some special missions in which they ask you to, go into a certain stage, use specific Pokemon, achieve certain requirements, you'll complete these missions and you earn, I forget what it is, but you get stars towards special rewards and special items, I believe, in the Pokemon Shuffle game. But as far as special stages go, there's a number of them that are on the go right now, and they are going until July 26th, which I think is next Tuesday. First of all, both Regigigas and Hoopa in its confined form are available in standard encounters in the special stages. Azelf is available as well right now in a timed battle, so you have a time limit to try to defeat this Pokemon and capture it. If you have captured it and go back into battle it again, you have a chance to earn an Azelf skill booster, which you can then use to boost Azelf's skill chances of happening if you go into battles later on and use that item. There's another Pokemon Safari on the go as well. That's going to round out the special stages. In the Safari, what happens in this, is you have a set number of Pokemon, I think it's 7, and randomly you'll encounter one of these Pokemon. You don't know which one it is until you go into the battle, so your idea is choose a suitable team before going into the Safari and do your best to capture this Pokemon. If you do manage to capture these Pokemon, or at least one of them, and you battle it again, there's a chance that they will drop coins or an experience booster medium, which is going to be pretty handy. So the Pokemon in this particular Safari are going to be Electrike, Manectric, Darumaka, Darmanitan, Stantler, Pikachu Winky Face, and Raichu Winky Face. So they had a Pikachu Angry a while ago, now there's a Pikachu Wink, and based on those types, you want to probably bring some ground-type Pokemon. It'll be super effective on 6 of those Pokemon, Stantler the only one being just, neutral damage. So maybe bring a couple ground types and a fighting type in case you do encounter Stantler in these Pokemon Safari stages. So moving on to the remainder of the news, I will point out that this week the registration for the Sinnoh Classic, which is the upcoming online competition, does end on this Thursday, which is July 21st. So if you want to take part in that, go ahead and go onto Pokemon Global Link. I think it's PokemonGL.com, I think it is. I'll put a link in the description in case I don't know what I'm talking about. But go there, you can register yourself to go into the Sinnoh Classic. I've heard over the weekend there's been some problems getting onto the server and connecting and just basically logging in order to register. It might be because of all the Pokemon Go stuff, I'm not sure. I would think they'd be different servers, but I really don't know what I'm talking about there. But anyway, if you want a chance to go into the Sinnoh Classic and get your chance to earn the participation prize, which is Cynthia's Garchomp, a copy of her, I think, level 66 Garchomp that she uses in Diamond and Pearl. That's your chance. Go into the Sinnoh Classic, compete in 3 battles, and you'll earn your copy of Cynthia's Garchomp. But as I say, link in the description for more details on the Sinnoh Classic and requirements of team building and held items and such. So check that out if you're interested. Now, in the world of Pokemon TCG, there's a couple of nice noteworthy things to mention. First, as you can see here, a new BREAK Evolution box is now available. This is featuring 4 new foil cards, promo cards, featuring Lugia, Ho-Oh, Ho-Oh Break, and Wobbuffet Break. We're going to take a look at those in just a moment, but in this box you also get 5 Pokemon TCG booster packs, an oversized copy of the Ho-Oh Break card, and the code card to unlock all these nice things online in the Pokemon TCG Online. So let's take a look at the Pokemon in question. First of all, you see Lugia here with 120 HP. Now it's interesting, I've said this many times before, I'll probably say it many times again. When's the last time we had a Psychic type Lugia card? They generally seem to focus on having just the colorless type to represent the flying side. Maybe it's because it's a white Pokemon and they think it goes with white. I don't know, but it'd be neat to see a Psychic Lugia again for after all this time. Anyway, double colorless energy. You can do Gust for 30, 4 colorless energy, Aeroblast does 80, flip 2 coins, 20 more damage for each heads. Next here we see Ho-Oh with also 120 HP. This is a fire Pokemon, and as I just said about Lugia, why doesn't Ho-Oh appear as colorless? I suppose there was a Ho-Oh EX recently that was colorless, but anyway, Ho-Oh with 120 fire type. For 1 colorless energy, Stoke says flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for up to 2 fire energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon. Very nice. For 2 fire and 2 colorless, Fire Wing does a decent 100 damage. But if you want a little bit more firepower, get it? You go for Ho-Oh Break Evolution. For 3 fire and 2 colorless, Shining Flame does a nice 160 damage. This Pokemon can't use, Shining Flame during your next turn. Okay, so it's hard to read. The card is sideways as I'm looking at it on my screen, so bear with me. As we move on to Wobbuffet Break. Of course, Break Evolution from Wobbuffet goes up to 140 HP, and the attack for a Psychic and Colorless, right back at you. That sounds like a Kirby episode of the anime. Discard all energy attached to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. If this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, even if this Pokemon is knocked out, put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon equal to the damage done. Sorry, damage how does that say? Damage done to this Pokemon. I think that's what it says. It's hard to make up, but basically, the idea is you discard the energy from Wobbuffet, and it's almost kind of like, say, Destiny Bond, but more I'd say like, counter or mirror coat in a way. You're going to bounce back the damage that the opponent does to you. It's too bad it doesn't double it, because that would really discourage people from attacking this Wobbuffet. But anyway, that is Wobbuffet Break, and you get all that stuff in the Break Evolution box, which is currently available, I believe, or if not, it's going to be available soon. Now, we're going to take a look at some more cards. Some more Steam Siege cards have been revealed, 3 more cards. We've got 1 Pokemon and 2 trainer cards. Let's check them out right now, starting with Break Evolution for Yveltal, the legendary from Kalos. 150 HP, of course, Darkness-type Pokemon. For 3 Darkness Energy, Baleful Night does 120, and this attack does 30 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. Don't apply weakness and resistance for the benched ones, of course. Nice way you can combine this would probably be, I would say, well, I'm trying to think standard, but standard hasn't come in, the new standard, I'll say. You can combine this with things like Greninja from the base set, which can do 30 damage with Water Shuriken. You can combine it with the Forretress from the Flashfire expansion. Place 1 damage counter on each of the opposing Pokemon when you evolve your Pineco into Forretress. And Yveltal Break in the active spot could then do 120 to the active and 30 more to each bench Pokemon, which could build up pretty quick. So moving on, next we have a trainer card, the supporter called Ninja Boy. This is an interesting one. Choose one of your basic Pokemon in play, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, and switch it with that Pokemon. Now, any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon. Shuffle the first Pokemon into your deck. What's really interesting about this is the fact that, let's say you have a any basic Pokemon in play, and you swap it out for, scrolling back, let's say the Ho-Oh from this new Break Evolution box. Technically, that Ho-Oh copies the turns in play of the Pokemon it's replacing, so therefore it has been in play for at least 1 turn. You can Break Evolve it immediately after using Ninja Boy, so it doesn't count as newly coming into play. It's a very interesting card. It's almost like, what'd you call it? Some sort of camouflage thing where the Pokemon that was being hit by the opponent has been in disguise the entire time. Suddenly it breaks the disguise and you see what it truly is underneath. So, a very interesting card which could see some really interesting play and some creative strategies, which I want to run this. I want to do something sneaky with this that people might not expect. You know me, that's my kind of strategy with Pokemon TCG. Anyway, moving on, another interesting card is the Greedy Dice item. You can play this card only if you took it as a face-down prize card before you put it into your hand. Flip a coin. If heads, take 1 more prize card. So if you load up 4 of these in your deck and you are lucky enough, very lucky, to get all 4 of them in the prize cards at the start of the game, then you could take 5 prize cards after getting 1 knockout if you happen to draw each one of them in succession and flip a coin and get heads on each one of those. So pretty random luck would have to come into play to make that happen, but there is a chance that you could get 5 prize cards with a single knockout. I wonder, you can combine that with like the Delta Plus Ancient trait where you get to draw 2 prize cards, and I wonder if you could possibly get all your prizes. No, you wouldn't get all your prizes immediately. You would get at least 5 anyway, but getting the Delta Plus, knocking out Pokemon getting 2 prizes, gives you 2 chances to grab a Greedy Dice out of your prize or prize pool, prize cards, whatever you want to say. Anyway, I believe that is going to be all for the news update. I am about to open up the Furious Fist Booster Pack, but first of all, now for this week's question of the day, since Pokemon Go has officially released in Canada, I know it's not everywhere in the world just yet, but it's slowly rolling out there. Since it has opened up and released in my country, I figure now's a good time to ask this question, but I've got sort of a follow-up question in case it is not currently in your country from wherever you're watching this. First of all, what is your favorite Pokemon Go story so far? Now, this could be either something that happened to you if you have the game, or if not, you might have heard some various stories online of things that are happening and stuff going on right now. So, even if it's not a story that happened to you yourself, if you've heard an interesting story that you like about Pokemon Go, feel free to share that. And if you do not have a favorite story thus far, for example, if you haven't had it happen or haven't had it released in your country yet, the follow-up question is going to be, what do you hope to experience from Pokemon Go when it does come in your country? If it does, I'm hoping it goes everywhere, but if and when it if and when it releases in your country, what are you hoping to experience from Pokemon Go? So leave your response answer to that question of the day in the comments below and include the hashtag QOTD in your comment. And on Sunday, July 24th, you will go into the running for the random draw of the code card from the Furious Fist Booster Pack, which I will draw when I open this up in just a moment. But I would like first to answer that question myself. Favorite Pokemon Go story? So as I said, I don't have the game yet. Now my nephews do have it, and we've done some walk-arounds to try to find some Pokemon. But I would say the more noteworthy thing that I really like that I've heard thus far from online stories is just the fact that so many more people are going out and being active outside. Like one of the stories that I heard, basically, shared online, is a mother made a comment about having an autistic son who does not interact with people and does not go outside. Thanks to this game, Pokemon Go, it's encouraging this young boy to go outside and capture Pokemon. And she found that he was interacting with people and sharing his joy of Pokemon, and it is heartwarming to think that that this game that Pokemon started with 20 years ago has expanded to the point now where it's encouraging outside activity and interaction with people. Like I've been just walking through town now wearing my Charizard hat, and people see me on my phone just checking my Twitter or something, and they immediately say, "Is that Pokemon Go?" And we strike up a conversation. And I'm also thinking this could, draw a lot more attention to the Heroes Beacon Pokemon League as well. Bring some more players in, like the card game that might otherwise not have interacted with us. So I really like just how much interaction and more, what would you call it? More engrossing and encompassing it's making everything as far as Pokemon goes. Like another thing I kind of like about it as a sort of side thing is maybe a lot of new people into the world of Pokemon are playing this app, and maybe they'll get into the card game or video game, and since I've got a lot of experience in that field, I can probably destroy some people with all my strategies. But that's a side story, What I want to do is actually just have fun experiencing this with more people, and that's what I like about this. Just how many more people are experiencing Pokemon and interacting with one another. I'm kind of repeating myself, I'm just rambling, but feel free to leave your answer to that question. Just a quick little recap in case I ramble a little too much. What is your favorite Pokemon Go story so far? Or, what do you hope to experience from Pokemon Go? So as I say, answer that question with hashtag QOTD down below in the comments, and you'll go into the running for the code card, which I'm about to pull out right now. And so with a nice backdrop of the Pokemon Mythical Collection Shaman over here, and the Blastoise EX Red and Blue Collection in the background, which I didn't mention these just yet, but if I do hit 800 subscribers before the next Mythical Pokemon Collection comes out, I'll be opening the Shaman box on camera and giving that code card out to a viewer. If we hit 1,000 before the Venusaur Collection comes out, which I think even might be out now, I just haven't picked it up yet, but on a slim chance, if we do hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to open this on camera and give out the code card as well. But I also want to pick up another EX collection of the Red and Blue set and give that in a mail out to a lucky viewer who participates in whatever question of the day I ask when I open that box up. So all that being said, it is now time to open up the Furious Fist Booster Pack. Let's see what I get out of the 10 random cards as I try to slide the code card off to the side without revealing the code, of course, which is easy because it's flipped around backwards. So that goes to the side until Sunday, July 24th, and you have a chance to win that by competing, I guess, in the question of the day. So my cards from this pack are going to start with a Patrat. We have a Shelmet, Minun, a Makuhita, and last common is going to be a Shroomish. Uncommons begin with a Hitmonchan. We have an Excelgor, free retreat cost, I really like that. We also have a Poliwhirl with Rain Splash and Finishing Blow. The reverse foil card is going to be a Super Scoop Up. Definitely a good card that a lot of people like to run for things like the, say, Crobat deck with the ability to play from hand, do more damage. Reverse foil is a good version to get of that. Rare card of the Furious Fist Booster Pack is going to be, very nice, Mega Heracross EX with 220 HP and the Big Bang Horn, 180 damage. This does 180 minus 10 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, so you definitely want to keep this thing healed up. And in this set, Herbal Energy was released, where you attach it to a grass Pokemon and heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. So definitely comes in handy with that attack. We're going to put you back there by the Blastoise EX. We're going to put you in the middle by the EX and the grass type. There we go. So that is what I got out of the booster pack myself. And again, for your chance to win this code card being drawn on Sunday, July 24th, just answer the question of the day, either or. What is your favorite Pokemon Go story so far? Or, what do you hope to experience from Pokemon Go? Leave that answer down below with hashtag QOTD in your comment, and you'll have a chance to win that code card that I just drew on Sunday, July 24th. With all that out of the way, I want to say thank you for checking out today's news update video. Come on back in a few hours' time to the channel and check out the first episode of Pokemon Silver for the week, in which I believe we're heading towards Cyanwood City, trying to get some medicine for poor Amphi in the Olivine Lighthouse. Once again, thank you for checking out today's episode, everybody, and I'll catch you next time.